1 year ago this week, Suzanne Simpson's neighbors saw something that they'll never unsee. Suzanne was screaming and fighting with her husband out in front of the house. It was late in the evening, but soon the screaming could be heard from the woods nearby. And then everything went silent. Suzanne was never seen or heard from again, which is a big deal considering the 51-year-old realtor is the mother of 4 kids. But her husband, Brad Simpson, he's been seen a lot. First on video, buying lots of cleaning supplies and carting around strange containers in the back of his truck until suddenly those containers were gone too. Then next, he was seen in the mugshots after being arrested for the murder of his wife, Suzanne. Now, understandably, a lot of this has gotten under the skin of Suzanne's family. I spoke with Suzanne's sister, Teresa, last November when the murder investigation was still very fresh.
And I knew as soon as I heard that my sister had been missing for 16 hours that she was no longer with us, because we have lost my sister at Disney, for an hour or two. We've lost her in South Texas for an hour or two. But my sister has always been at home, in her bed with her husband, with her children. She has a lot of responsibilities, and she doesn't go missing for, more than an hour or two. So I knew right away that my sister was no longer with us as soon as I got the message.
Well, now in a shocking turn of events, that sister, Teresa, has been arrested in connection with the murder, but not for anything she did to Suzanne. After the break, why they took her in, and is she in the same jail as her sister's accused killer? It's next. As I told you before the break, Brad Simpson is in jail, couldn't afford the $3 million in bond for the accusations that he murdered his wife, Suzanne, 1 year ago this week. But now Suzanne's sister, Teresa, is also in jail, and this is a recent development. I'm happy to be joined by Sig Christenson now. He's an investigative reporter at the San Antonio Express News. Sig, you and I have talked about this case before, but what happened to Teresa? Why has she been jailed?
She apparently has been accused of harassing a number of people in his family. And at the moment, that's a $2,000 fine, 180 days in jail, maybe both. It's a misdemeanor like a DWI here in Texas. So it's nowhere near as serious as what he's facing, but she was arrested by the folks in the Travis County area. DPS arrested her, and they took her to jail.
And as I understand, she's able to bond out. That's not a big bond to get out on those charges. But was there any point where she was in the same jail facility as Brad Simpson, the man who's accused of murdering her sister?
No, he's an hour and 20 minutes down here in San Antonio, south of Austin. So and by the way, he's been there nearly a year. I wonder how a year in county lockup has worn on him. It was a year and 2 days ago that we last saw his wife. She was seen at the Argyle, and the last anybody even heard of her was a neighbor who said he heard the screams coming from a nearby wooded area, and he apparently saw some evidence of a struggle between them. And that's the last we've seen or heard of her. After a year, no trace of her body, and yet some pretty interesting charges. The assault with a deadly weapon causing serious bodily injury. How do they know that, I wonder? And the same thing with tampering with a corpse. How do they know that?
Yeah.
It's as if they've got some evidence.
See. Exactly. I can't wait to see some of that evidence. But let me ask you a little bit about Teresa, because this was just out of the blue. It came out of nowhere. Do you know what the allegations are against her, what she is alleged to have done to harass Brad's family members?
What we've had in our newspaper, the San Antonio Express News, is that she was apparently calling and harassing the family, and they were getting phone calls late at night, numerous times in the evening, the story says. And the messages ran from several seconds to several minutes long. They were repetitive frequently. Clark accused the Simpsons of, quote, killing her sister, quote, end quote, and said, quote, they do not know who they are messing with, end quote. And she also warned, according to our story, that they would, quote, not get away with this. So obviously angry, but there's a lot of anger and grief in both of those families. I think one of Brad's brothers actually took the side of Suzanne Simpson in that case and turned against his own brother.
I remember hearing that.
There's a lot of emotion
I remember
there.
hearing that. So real quickly, I only have a couple seconds left here, but I know you mentioned it's misdemeanor, but what's she facing if she's convicted of this?
Well, if she gets 180 days in jail, she's probably, unless she's been in jail before, I can't even imagine her getting any time. It might be a fine. I guess it may come down to the jury if a jury ends up hearing the case. You know, and you never know what a jury is. I could see that there'd be
some sympathy. No, exactly. I could see them, having some sympathy for her. I have to wrap it there, but you know what? I've got to have you back on. You always have great information in this case, and clearly we're going to trial, I think with Brad, it's in December? Yeah, February 13th. So, Sig, will you come back?
February 13th. I'll be back, and we'll be covering that trial. It will be the biggest trial of the year in San Antonio for sure.
Well, put us on your calendar. Thanks so much for this. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.